Why you smiling so hard?
Hello and welcome to the Jackson and Shabazz show. I'm Hunter Jackson along with my good friend and co-host Abdullah Shabazz. Abdullah, what's going on?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. So it's been about a week since we did our last episode. What's been going on? What's new with you?
Man, nothing much, man. I got a football season, some of the best seasons ever. I'm going to a preseason game, the Giants versus Bears. So hopefully neither team wins because they're both garbage. So
All right. Well, what are the seats you have? You sitting end zone, half field? What's going on?
one of my boys just called me and was like, "Hey, I got preseason tickets." So I just said, "All right, cool." I don't know where we're sitting. We might be in the parking lot. Who knows?
Well, the parking lot's where the best part of the game happens. The tailgate's always the best. You got to make sure you show up early, though. That's important.
Sure. Yeah, for
bring,
sure.
You bring the drink, you bring the food, and you sit out there like 2-3 hours before the game. That's the best part of the football game, always.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, unless the team wins that you went and rooting for. But
yeah, then I got to find a guy named Tim. Usually a fun guy named Tim everywhere. So why not?
So yeah, man, over the weekend, so I went home, as a lot of people know, and a lot of people may not know, I live in Lexington, Kentucky.
In Kentucky?
Yeah, so I actually went home this weekend. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see you. For the people, friends and family that I didn't get to see, I was only in town for a couple of days, so don't take it personal. And also, if you do, fuck you. But so one of the things I did do, I went to the movies with my little brother, and there wasn't a lot of movies playing, so we decided to go see Hobbs and Shaw. Now, I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise really at all. I think it's kind of corny. And the last, I know. Listen.
Your mouth. First of all,
the last.
Jesus, man.
The last Fast and Furious movie I saw, Paul Walker was still alive. Okay, I'm not a fan of the movies just because I just think they're ridiculous. Now, that being said, I can appreciate a ridiculous action movie if the action is super ridiculous. So I do want to take, without any spoilers, I want to tell you my favorite part of the movie, okay? So Hobbs and Shaw is one of the installments of this Fast and Furious franchise. And, it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham. So there's a scene in the movie, and again, no spoiler here. This isn't going to ruin anything. There's a scene in the movie. Jason Statham is driving the car. Have you seen the movie yet, by the way?
Nope, I have not seen it.
Okay, so there's a scene where Jason Statham's driving a Maserati in the middle of the city. Okay, he's doing like 75, 80 miles an hour. And these guys on bikes, motorcycles, are chasing him, also doing 75, 80 miles an hour, like 6, 7 people on bikes. Okay. And so The Rock is in this small Maserati like this, right? And Jason Statham is driving, and you see this guy on a bike is coming from the front now. The 5 of them are behind, and one's coming from the front. Jason Statham says something along the lines of, "There's a guy in front of us," and The Rock says, "I'll take care of it." So simultaneously, Jason Statham turns the car to the left really hard, so that the guy riding the bike is on the Rock side of the car. And in ridiculous Fast and the Furious fashion, made me laugh out loud in the theater. The Rock punches through the window of the Maserati, opens up his hand like this, and snags, after doing 80 miles an hour, snags a guy off a motorcycle who's also doing 80 miles an hour, and just holding him by the shirt like this. And I'm laughing my ass off in the movie because I'm like, okay, I know it's The Rock and he's supposed to be the Incredible Hulk, but
bro, The Rock is brolic. You don't think he could do that?
At 80 miles an hour, he would shatter every bone in his body from the tip of his finger to his neck. At 80 miles, dude, force meeting
the
force
dude's
like that.
Arms are like that big, bro. His arms are huge.
It does not matter. That being said, I thought it was hilarious because he drags him for 150, 200 yards, and the guy's like flailing like this, trying to get out of the Rock's grasp, and the Rock just doesn't say anything. It's like it was light work that he just grabbed this guy also going 80 miles an hour after punching through the window of a Maserati. But with that being said, if you go in it with those expectations of being ridiculous action movie, it was fantastic. Okay, I loved every second of it.
I have 2 things to say. First of all, don't underestimate Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Okay. Second of all, you want to hear
from? What is that? What is that accent?
Oh, it's something I've been working on. Don't worry about it. Just it'll get there.
Don't do voice impressions for a day job. Trust me.
Oh no, it's a night job. So you want to hear something ridiculous? So speaking of movies, I went to the movie just yesterday. Right, I saw The Scary Story. Long
I
name,
saw
whatever.
the preview for that. Yeah, I saw the preview for that.
Now, listen. Not a bad movie. Scary movies, they're okay with me. I'm more action, fighting, comedy type stuff. I go to the movies with this lovely young lady, if she's listening.
Who shall remain nameless, probably because the way the story's going to go, and I don't know anything about it. I'm
just let's just say I don't want anybody to know her name. Let's just say, so all right, I'm just sitting there right next to her, minding my own business, eating my watermelon Sour Patch Kids, right? Drinking my water, and all of a sudden, she had popcorn and her soda and stuff, so she's on the right side of me, all right? So I'm obviously just looking at the screen, and she pulls her phone out. So naturally, I'm a guy, I'm just kind of glancing over at her phone or whatever. So then her phone is in her right hand. She reaches over and tries to pick up popcorn with the phone, right? So I'm like, oh, she's going to get butter and salt all over her screen. What an idiot. Then she takes the phone and she angles it this way, right? So she's angling it this way. And she's trying to take a picture of me. And I'm just like, I'm pretending like I don't know what's going on. She's trying to take the picture, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what is this girl doing? She takes the picture, and she's like, damn it. And she puts her phone down. And I look at her, and I was like, well, I don't know if you knew or not, but I'm black, and we're in a movie theater. If you don't turn that flash on, you're not going to see me, so I don't know what you're doing. But she tried to, I don't know what she was trying to do, let Snapchat or somebody know where we were, but I was not going for it. So I thought that was ridiculous, by the way.
She must have known that the first episode of the Jackson and Shabazz show had almost 200 viewers on YouTube, and she was trying to get with you before the money and fame came,
Right. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear, buddy.
The first thing I want to get into today on the show is, so NBA 2K is coming out soon, 2K20. And they released these two photos this week of the all 2000s and the all 2010 starting five for the NBA.
Yep, I saw that.
So on the all 2000 starting five, Allen Iverson is the starting point guard. Kobe Bryant is the starting shooting guard. Mm-hmm. LeBron James starts at small forward. Mm-hmm. Tim Duncan starts at power forward.
Yep.
And Shaquille O'Neal starts at center.
Big Diesel.
All good, all great, right? And that's just from the year 2000 to 2009 or 2010. I don't know. Then the all 2010 starting five that 2K came out with, and these are going to be teams that you can play with in the new season. Excuse me, in the new game.
Yep.
The starting point guard is Steph Curry.
Yep.
Starting shooting guard, James Harden. Starting small forward is again LeBron James, but this is a totally different LeBron James. This is LeBron James with 3 rings.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant at power forward and Dwight Howard at center.
Dwight Howard
at center. Now you got to remember.
Unbelievable.
And I don't. You got to remember how good Dwight Howard was in the Magic days. The problem I have with that is I'm pretty sure that was more in the starting of the early 2000s, all 2000s team, because I'm pretty sure they went to the finals before 2010 started.
2009.
But regardless, those are the all 2000s and the all 2010 starting five. So my question for you is, which team wins?
Because of let me just say this. So first of all, Shaquille O'Neal, aka Shaq, aka the Big Diesel, does not like Dwight Howard. Okay, Shaq is the real Superman. Dwight Howard is Stuperman. Okay, he's a dummy. All right, that's why he's been unsuccessful. After the Magic, he did not have one great season. He tried with James Harden in the Rockets, wasn't good. Tried with Kobe on the Lakers, was not good. All right. So the early 2000s team obviously wins that.
Interesting. Do you have any reasons other than Shaq? Because I mean, I can argue this with you all day. Now, there's great players on both teams. Obviously, these some of the greatest that the NBA has ever seen.
Yeah.
But I could make an argument now. Everybody loves Allen Iverson, and I'm not going to say a bad thing about Allen Iverson except for the fact that he doesn't have a ring. But Steph Curry is the starting point guard on there. Now, who would you rather have as a starter? I mean, let's throw away the 2000 and 2010s. I mean, who would you rather have here, Steph Curry or Allen Iverson? Because Steph Curry is the greatest shooter ever. He's the greatest shooter ever.
Simple answer. I'd rather have prime Allen Iverson than shattered ankle Stephen Curry.
No, I totally disagree.
Who is injury prone? Who's injury prone? Now, I'm not. Listen, Steph Curry, fantastic player. I have no problem with him. The guy is a class act. Is Steph Curry going to guard Allen Iverson? Is that where you're trying to go with this?
I mean, if we're talking about 2000s versus 2010s, I mean, there's plenty of athleticism on the 2000. There's plenty of athleticism on the 2010s team that can guard Allen Iverson. I'm not too worried about that. But Steph Curry is the best shooter we've ever seen in league history.
Who's guarding Allen Iverson? Successfully.
I mean, it gets tough here because I say LeBron James, but then LeBron James has a LeBron James to guard, so it doesn't really make any sense. I mean, Kevin Durant is on that team. Listen, I don't know, but I still am going to pick Steph Curry over Allen Iverson, and it's not a generational thing. I was lucky enough to see both of these guys play. I'm just on the cusp of that age where when I was growing up as a kid, got to see Allen Iverson do all that crazy stuff in the crossovers and the stepping over Tyronn Lue, all that. And I was young, don't get me wrong, I was 6, 7 years old, but I got to see it. But Steph Curry, every time he steps on a court, absolutely amazes me. He makes shots that I'm like, come on, and boom, go in. I mean, it's insane. But I think he makes a bigger.
You're basing the win. You're basing the win off of one player. That's my issue with your argument. You can't just say, oh, Steph Curry. Steph Curry doesn't play defense.
No, okay, so I'm just talking about who would you rather have. I'm not talking about 2000s versus 2010s yet. I'm talking about who would you rather have as the point guard, Allen Iverson or Steph Curry. I'm choosing Steph Curry. Obviously, both in their primes. I'm choosing Steph Curry. You want to know why? The 3 is worth more than the 2.
So Allen Iverson can't shoot? I mean, okay, we're not going to not at that
clip.
Of course, Steph is the best shooter probably to ever do it. You know, if Riley joins the NBA, she'll be the best shooter to ever do it.
Now, so what's your argument? I mean, what's Allen Iverson's best aspect of his game? It's his crossover, right? It's his handles.
Playmaking and raw scoring.
It's his crossover. Everybody knows AI for his crossover and his handles and all his crazy moves, dribbling around people, everything like that. Steph Curry does the same thing. Steph Curry's handles are incredible. I know you've seen that video from a couple years back when he did all those crazy moves. All those crazy moves.
Of course. So just like how Kyrie Irving does it, just like how John Wall does it, just like how Westbrook does it. You know, what's the handle?
I mean, okay. I mean, everybody in the NBA can play well. If we're gonna say, you know, at the point guard position, you should be able to dribble. But I would say Steph Curry can dribble at the same level as Allen Iverson, and Allen Iverson doesn't shoot better than Steph Curry.
Stephen Curry cannot dribble at the same level as Allen Iverson.
I don't know, man. I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on that. So who outguards who out of the 2010 LeBron James or the early 2000s LeBron James?
Well, a LeBron James with younger knees might help, you know?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you there. I think the early 2000s LeBron James is just going to be a little bit more athletic than the older one.
For sure, yeah. A LeBron James that doesn't do Taco Tuesday. That LeBron James.
Yeah, a little bit on the borderline there of almost getting in trouble every time he does that. As soon as he starts putting on the fake mustache, that's when people got to draw the line, and there's going to be an outrage. You notice when he put that video out there, and Anthony Davis is in the background. He goes, Taco Tuesday, and shows Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was like a deer in headlights. He was like, I'm not at the same level as you, Bron. I can't get away with this. There's going to be a lot of Mexican people that are really mad at me about this.
AG, he knows how to cook too. He's pretty good, so I heard.
Excuse me, I didn't hear what you said.
I say Anthony Davis, supposedly he cooks really well, according to NBA 2K19's My Career mode.
I don't know anything about that. I guess I didn't get that far in the My Career mode. So going into the going into the football season, I wanted to talk a little bit of hypothetical with you. So I know you're not a big fan. You're not a big fan of fantasy football. However,
not really.
Well, I asked you to play and you said no. So how about that?
I just don't like you. Plain and simple.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, obviously in order or just in general?
Just top 3. It doesn't have to be in order. If you want to put it in order, if you want to be that decisive, then that's fine.
I do not. So, obviously, Tom Brady. As a Steelers fan, clearly I'm going to say Ben Roethlisberger. And and the last one I probably go with
emphasis on the burger. Emphasis on the burger.
Yeah, whatever. And the third one, I'd probably say I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is like one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch.
Okay. Well, for me, you're missing a huge one right there. The MVP of last year, Patrick Mahomes.
He's all right.
Well, I mean, for me, Patrick Mahomes, listen, I think he's going to actually be in a pretty bad situation this year. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. However, he was so great last year. The only way for Patrick Mahomes is down. The only way.
Absolutely, yeah.
50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. The only direction that he can go is down. If he eclipses that season, he instantly goes in the conversation as the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Not ever. He's not there yet.
Yeah.
But if he can score more than 50 touchdowns and less than 12 interceptions and repeat that again, I mean, he's incredible. So sure. Patrick Mahomes goes in that top conversation for me right there. Obviously, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to do it, and I can't stand him, 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 Tom Brady is also in that list of the top 3 for me. And then the third one is going to be a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of an older guy, a little bit of an underdog. Drew Brees.
I'm not going to knock Drew Brees. I don't think he's top 3, but the dude throws 5,000 yards.
I mean,
practically every season. So yeah, okay, I respect that.
Not to mention, he's 5 foot tall out there, making these guys that are defensive linemen, 6'7", 6'9", look stupid. I mean, and as an quote unquote old man, I mean, really, he's moving around out there better than a lot of the young quarterbacks.
More experience, yeah, more comfortable in the pocket.
So what about here's an interesting one. Who's the worst quarterback in the NFL that's a starter?
Oh, that's a starter. That's tough. I got to go with I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of tough to just pick one. I don't know. The one that I've seen that's not really well is I'm not a fan of Jameis Winston. I'm really not.
Interesting. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I don't think I'm a fan of his, but he hasn't shown any type of upside. I think the coolest and the best thing he's ever done in the NFL is that pre-game inspiration speech where he bit off all his fingers and turned it into a W. I thought that was awesome. But
yeah, that was cool.
Other than that, translating into on-field productivity, I mean, he really almost lost his job last year to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean,
for sure, yeah.
And to be completely honest with you, if Fitzpatrick was a couple years younger, he probably would have. Not to mention all the off the field stuff that keeps coming up with Jameis Winston every year or so. There's been rape allegations. There was the infamous stealing of the crab legs. There's all this crazy. There's all this crazy stuff going on with him. So he's certainly not on my tier of favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. But I'm actually going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go with Marcus Mariota. And here's why. Marcus Mariota is questionable to start the season before the last season even has begun yet. He's always injury prone. He's never on the field. He's always a game time decision. And when he's in there, he doesn't really make a big impact.
Yeah.
I mean, he never does anything that gets on SportsCenter. You're like, wow, that guy's a quarterback. And I feel the same way about what you said about Jameis Winston. I mean, he doesn't do anything that amazes the hell out of me. And Marcus Mariota, I feel the same way. But other than the off the field stuff with Winston, I think it's the on the field stuff that makes Mariota worse. He doesn't make players around him look better. The Titans certainly aren't a great team. Can you name a single wide receiver on that team?
I'm going to be honest. I forgot Marcus Mariota was a quarterback.
Okay, so that makes my point right there. So
I kid you not.
That makes my point right there. Then good. I'm glad. All right. So wide receiver, top
Best
three wide receiver, top 3 wide receivers in the league, and I need these in order.
Okay, right now, obviously, and if you watched last episode, it pains my heart. Antonio Brown, one of my favorite guys, turned into just a complete D-head, for lack of censorship. The guy, yeah, I would say he's first.
Douchebag?
Nope, dickhead.
Oh. Yeah,
so,
we're gonna swear now, guys. We decided that fuck it, we're just gonna do it. I mean, whatever. ESPN hasn't hired us yet, so we're just gonna do it.
I'm gonna try to mitigate this whole thing, and I'm only gonna swear every 82nd word. So Antonio Brown first. I don't know. I guess I'd go with. How about we just do this? Do 1 and 1. I name my one. Okay. You name your one.
Okay. That's no problem. My number 1 is Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's incredible. I completely disagree with your Antonio Brown thing. I want to start there.
Who's Odell's better than Antonio Brown? In what world?
I mean, yeah, well, that's why I had him as my number 1. Obviously, I don't agree with you. Listen, the reason why, not anything that has to do with the past. Last year, he wasn't amazing, and it was a lot of off the field stuff. I almost did that damn off the court thing again. Wrong sport, Hunter. So Antonio Brown, ever since he got hit by Vontaze Burfict and got his bell rung, ding dong, lights out, he has not been the same.
You are
not. I'm not saying that he hasn't been productive.
Real.
I'm not saying he hasn't been productive. However, you see all of this off the field stuff. I said it right that time. What
does that have to do with your initial question, Hunter Jackson?
I'm getting to that. I think he is going to play himself out of the league. I think he's going to cause so much drama, so much crap that nobody's going to want him. He's going to be Dez Bryant. Where's Dez Bryant now? Do you know?
Cowboys,
Unemployed. Cowboys, you're wrong. Yeah, unemployed. That's where he's at. Because eventually people get sick of the diva wide receiver. And a lot of Odell Beckham is a diva. But.
Well, rebuttal. First of all.
Antonio Brown is more. He's more of a diva. Absolutely
not. First of all, you say Dez Bryant.
He had a blue mustache. Blue mustache.
Okay, don't worry about that. Don't worry. If he likes blue raspberry, if he likes blue raspberry so much, just let him be. Nah, but you say Dez Bryant. First of all, and this is a stat. You can search this up. Dez Bryant, 2 seasons ago, literally had a season where he dropped more catches than he caught. That is not diva. That's scrub. Okay. Then the following year, you are basically the number 1 big name on your team, and you're garbage. Antonio Brown is a walking touchdown, and nobody that hates the Steelers or Antonio Brown can deny that. Walking touchdown.
I think he's been great. I'm not a person that's going to deny somebody's greatness. Antonio Brown has been great. However, I don't put him in my top 3 anymore because I don't even think he's going to play a full season. I don't.
He's not top 3.
He frostbit his own feet.
What does that have to do with your question?
For the best, because I don't think he's going to be the best anymore. That was my question. Who's the best wide receiver in the league? Who's the top 3 wide receivers in the league? And number 1, you said Antonio Brown. I don't think he's going to be that anymore.
He's not top 3?
No.
You know, I'm very interested to know your other 2. So, okay, my second one, I would have to go with Odell. Man can catch anything. Man can catch a watermelon with 1 hand. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. I lost you a little bit there, but I end up hearing what you said. It just got a little bit delayed. So my number 2, Julio Jones.
That was actually going to be my number 3, Julio Jones.
All right. And because I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties right now, can you give me your number 3?
I mean, I did just say Julio Jones, but Yes, Julio Jones would be my number 3. The guy, freak, was he 6'6"? He dude's huge out in the field. He can catch in traffic. He can really do it all, in my opinion. He's an older guy. I'm surprised he's not breaking down. Isn't he late 30s?
He's getting up there. I think he's just I don't think he's late 30s. I think he's just entering his 30s, maybe 31, 32. But
sure? I thought he was I thought he was like 34 or something like that. I thought so. I could be wrong.
I'll have you look it up when I tell you who my number 3 is. Are you ready? The number 3 wide receiver in the league for me is any white quarterback that the New England Patriots are going to turn into a wide receiver this offseason. Who's going to end up catching the game-winning Super Bowl touchdown. That's the number 3 best wide receiver in the league this year.
I'd be a fool if I didn't agree with that. Tom Brady makes a scrub look like a superstar.
No. Bill Belichick has a hobby. His job is to win football games, right? That's obvious. His job is to win football games. His job is to win NFL championships. His hobby is to turn white lacrosse players who played JUCO college quarterback into the best wide receiver you've ever seen on a Super Bowl field.
Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Super Bowl MVP.
Edelman is nice, though.
Exactly. And guess where he played in college? Quarterback. It's insane. So whatever former white college quarterback that they choose to turn into a wide receiver this year is going to be the 3rd best wide receiver in the league. And that won't come down until the playoffs. Nobody's going to know his name until the playoffs. And then everyone's going to be like, duh.
It'll definitely be playoffs, that one big catch. And by the way, you're right. Julio is 30. Thought he was older. I don't know why. Maybe it's the gray hair in his dreads.
He looks old. He's just got that face. He's got that face where his skin looks young, but his facial features, you're just like, that dude could be 25 years old. He also could be 46. I don't know.
No, it's just the dreads. They're pulling his hairline back. It's like every inch is like 10 years. So the guy, he's struggling.
Speaking of some football talk here, the Miami Dolphins this offseason, they've actually gone through a lot. I don't know if you're aware about this. The Miami Dolphins, obviously, they signed Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 2-year, I believe, $11 million deal. Yep. And I didn't quite understand that then. Now I'm a Jets fan, obviously, and that year or two we had Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was the best Jets football we've seen since the 2 only good years of Mark Sanchez's career. So I actually like Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though he didn't take us to the playoffs. But I thought it was very weird because that's a team that is not going to win very many games regardless of who you have at quarterback, why they would sign a 37, 38-year-old quarterback for a 2-year deal. Because at this point, would you agree that Fitzpatrick is going to be a journeyman guy for however many years he has left? I imagine he would sign a 1-year deal back up here and then start kind of what he did in Tampa, But so then shortly after that, they trade for Josh Rosen, the guy in Arizona, that it was their number 1 pick last year, and they decided to draft Kyler Murray this year. So they kind of replaced him after a year. Apparently, they thought it didn't work out, and they traded him to the Miami Dolphins. Now, they've had a lot of adversity this offseason. They fired an offensive line coach. One of their rookie offensive linemen, this is actually tragic, got into a car accident and lost his arm. Wow. They had to amputate his arm. Man, so, I mean, this is a team with a lot of controversy. Now, about the whole kneeling at the anthem flag thing. Kenny Stills, probably their best wide receiver, is still doing that. And which I don't care about. Like, I don't care if you do it either way. But the owner of the Dolphins is funding a charitable dinner, I guess, in Donald Trump's name. And I don't want to make this show political. I'm just trying to give you a background, so let's not get into that. But so Kenny Stills has some real big problems with that. Now he's going at the owner because the owner says he supports the players, and he does the funding of the Donald Trump campaign, which to each their own, whatever. The new head coach of the Miami Dolphins is, a young black first-time head coach, and now he's caught in the middle of this Kenny Stills and owner drama and doesn't know what side to take. My question, what do you think the Dolphins are going to do this year? I know our good friend Addy is going to tell us, Super Bowl every time we ask him the question, but I mean, I honestly think,
and then he'll bring up their perfect season in what, 72 it was?
yeah, something like that. I personally think they're, unfortunately, Addy, I'm sorry, you're going to be mad when you hear this. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. I think there's too much going on.
I don't think they'll be the worst team in the league. I'd say they got a strong 7 wins. I'll give them 7 to 9 wins max. I'll give them that.
7 to 9 is a pretty solid team in the NFL these days. There's been a lot of 7 and 9 teams that are really good and go 7 and 9. You don't typically make the playoffs at 7 and 9 unless something crazy happens. I'm thinking more 3-4 wins. 3-4 wins. I don't think they're going to be able to get off the ground. Well, you're going to have.
I think they're better than that. I think they're a little better than that.
Well, listen, they're going to split time at quarterback in the beginning. I think Fitzpatrick is going to start the season, and then as soon as he does something bad, they're going to be all the fans will be like, "Hey, get the young guy in here. What'd you trade for him for?" And then so they're going to have a quarterback change mid-season. Mm-hmm. They don't have a great offensive line. They don't have experienced coaching. They don't have a lot going for them. I mean, if you don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league, who do you have?
It's a custom for me to always say the Browns, but I can't say that this year. I think they'll be really good. I'll probably just go with who's that guy? Marcus Mariota, whatever his name. I'd say I know Mariota. Yeah, I'd probably say Titans or Bears. Maybe the Bears will be okay. I'll go with Titans will be trash.
Yeah, I think the Bears are going to be pretty good. You got Trubisky going into his 3rd year. They've got Tariq Cohen. They got Tariq Cohen, so I think they're going to be pretty good. And if that guy Cody Parkey didn't miss that field goal last year, they would have made it deep into the playoffs. But they've released him since then, so hopefully they don't have that come back up again.
Yeah, or Tampa Bay. One of them is going to be the worst team, I think. So.
Well. I got nothing left.
What a scrub. All right. I can tell this is your 2nd episode.
Hey, this was this was a last minute. We tried a different approach this time to see how it went, and this is where it ended. I've got nothing else. I've got nothing else to talk about, quite frankly.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to ask me if I had anything else or something like that.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right. This has been the Jackson and Shabazz Show. Again, I am Hunter Jackson along with my good friend and co-host Abdullah Shabazz. Abdullah, sign us off.
He keeps calling me friend. I don't know what that's about, but it's been fun, man. It's been fun. I'm really enjoying it.
We'll come back at you next week with episode 3. I'm sorry if we bored you to death this time, but if you know what, hey, whatever. See ya.
All right.